Hello and welcome to this second video in this English Skills video series. In this lesson today, you're going to learn a powerful reading strategy to help you develop your English language skills. Many English learners are told to read in English to improve their English skills. But the question is, how can you read and improve your English in the most effective way? Well, in this lesson, I'm going to share with you my tips to help you read more actively in English. So there are two types of reading. There's active reading and there's passive reading. Active reading is when you stop to process the text, so this might be to look at new vocabulary or particular grammar structures, whereas passive reading is simply reading for the enjoyment and you don't stop to process any of the language. So which of these types of reading should you be doing to help you improve your English? Well, in my opinion, you should be doing both. And to help you combine these different types of reading, it's a good idea to think about when and where you read. For example, if you're travelling to work on the bus or train, or as a passenger in the car, and you have time to read, then this is better for passive reading. Obviously, here you don't have the time to stop and process the text or analyse the text. But if you're at home, let's say, and you have a nice comfortable place to sit and an hour to dedicate to some reading, then this is the perfect time for some active reading. So in this lesson, I want to share with you an approach that you can use to help you read more actively in English. To read actively, first you need to be prepared. So you need to have either a pencil or a highlighter to help you mark the text that you're going to be working with. If you don't want to mark the text, then another suggestion may be to use sticky notes where you can attach them to the page along with your notes. It's also important to have a good English dictionary nearby or access to an online English dictionary. So the first real step to reading actively is to create a mental outline of the topic or subject you're about to read. Now this is important because for many, reading is quite a mundane task. So to make it more exciting and effective, it's a good idea to associate your prior knowledge to the subject or topic you're about to read. So to create a mental outline, you can look for titles, images, or headings. By using these, it gives some sort of indication of what you're about to read. Also, you could ask yourself some pre-reading questions, such as, what is the topic about? What do I already know about the topic? And what vocabulary do I already know in relation to this topic? So by creating these pre-reading questions, it helps you to associate your prior knowledge. And this is going to make it much easier for you to locate the information within your text. And also it will help you remember it as well. So the next step is to read your text for the first time. Now it is important the first time you read not to stop and process any vocabulary, however tempting this may be. Your job is simply to read it and understand the main idea or concept. So once you've read your text for the first time all the way through without stopping to highlight new vocabulary, it might be a good idea to summarize in a sentence what you've read. So once you've read your text all the way through and you now have a general understanding of the main idea, you can now read your text for the second time. This time you want to underline any new or unfamiliar vocabulary. Or if you're trying to identify new grammar structures, you can do this also. Okay, so once you've identified a new or unfamiliar word, what you want to do is try to work out its meaning from the context. It might be very tempting to try to translate this word immediately or go and look in a dictionary, but this isn't going to help you. So whenever you come across a new word, try to work out the meaning from the sentence or paragraph it's in. You should only really check in the dictionary to clarify its meaning. Okay, so once you've worked through your text and uncovered any new or unfamiliar vocabulary, it's then time to read your text again. This time you're going to focus more on key points and key information. So as you read, underline or highlight anything that you think is important in relation to the main topic or idea. So the idea of locating the key information is to help you then with the next step, which you're going to use to help you extend your practice further. Okay, so the fifth and final step to your reading practice is to think about how you can summarize or review what you've read. There is no point ending the reading activity there. You should be thinking about how you can extend your practice. So you could either speak or write about what you've read. So here are some suggestions of what you could speak or write about. You could talk about the main points within the text. You could talk about your opinions of the text. You could also say what you liked or disliked about the text. And you can also talk about what you learnt from the text. You should always be thinking of how you can extend your practice. So there you go, there you have some simple steps on how you can read more actively in English. Now it's really important that you do make time to read actively in English as well as reading for enjoyment. And by reading in this way, you really will become more motivated and focused to read more in English. So active reading is a skill that really will help you take your English to the next level. If you'd like to learn more techniques, then in the description to this video there is a link to our free course where you can get access to all the videos in this series plus lots more practice exercises to help you improve your English.